Hi, Stitchy friends. This is Kara, the Granite State Stitcher, both here on YouTube and on Instagram. And my email is granitestatestitchers with an S at gmail.com. And that information is all linked down below. So today is February. Wow, the 25th. I had to look at that twice. Like, really? Where have the first 2 months of this year gone already? Crazy, crazy. But it's Sunday, February 25th, and this is FlossTube number 13. So, welcome and thank you so much for choosing to spend some time with me today. If you just happen to come across me, I'm happy that you stopped by, and I hope you like what you see and consider liking and subscribing to my channel. And if you are returning, thank you for visiting with me again. We have gained 100 new subscribers over the past 2 weeks. And I say we because you are part of this channel. The main reason I started this channel was to be able to connect with other stitchers in the cross stitching community. And I do this channel so that we can connect with one another. And I do consider you all my stitchy friends. So if you are a new subscriber, please say hello to me down in the comment section and let me know where you're watching from. And if you happen to hear about me from someone else's channel, please mention that also so that I can go and thank them and also subscribe to them if they are new to me. We all like to support each other here. So thank you so much for all that. So we have a lot to cover today. First of all, I need to extend a couple of apologies. On my last video, I could not remember Sarah's FlossTube channel, and she is Lady Lugana on FlossTube. She is a co-New Hampshire stitcher, um, and if you have not checked her out, please go check her out. She does beautiful work, beautiful work. So Sarah, I apologize for not remembering the name of your FlossTube channel. And the other apology goes to Terry and Jamie, the Cornhusker State Stitchers. I called them the Nebraska State Stitchers. And my granddaughter was quick to point out, Grammy, they're the Cornhusker State Stitchers. Okay, getting corrected by a 9-year-old. But Terry and Jamie, they are the Cornhusker State Stitchers, and they will be linked below as well as their Etsy store, which I am sure they are going. Last year they did a whole when they returned back from Nashville Market, they did a whole video on what they picked up at Market. So I'm hoping they will do that again this year. They had everything spread out in Terry's kitchen and it was great. So I can't wait to see what they picked up and what will be in their shop this year. So those are the apologies that I owe for the last video. So FlossTube mentions um, the first FlossTuber, and probably not new to you, but new to me. I heard him mentioned on Pam and Steph's channel, Just Keep Stitching, and they had talked about Chris, and Chris is on FlossTube as Chris Cross Stitch. Um, and they were talking about him, and they happened to mention that he had moved to New Hampshire. So I immediately found him because I live in New Hampshire, for those of you who are now new. And I immediately found him, and I've spent the past probably 3 weeks binge watching his videos. He did take a little break in between moving from California to New Hampshire, but he is established here now. He's been here. I think he moved here spring of last year, so almost a year. And Chris, if you ever see this video or you hear about me, I am so excited that there is another New Hampshire floss tuber here in the state, and maybe someday we can meet up. I will look forward to that. The second person that I want to mention that I've been watching is the Nerdy Stitcher. Her name is Enid, and she, I think, has 4 videos out. She is she likes to do a lot of smalls, and if you look at her work, she does very, very nice stitching. And she mentioned in her last video that she considers herself to be a slow stitcher. And I left her a comment like it doesn't matter how quick or how slow you go. It's the type of stitching that you do. It's the work you produce. And she definitely go look to see what she's doing. She's looking for, I don't know where she lives, and I should have asked her, but she started a FlossTube channel basically the same reason I did. She is looking for people in her community that she can hook up with, who share the same love of cross stitching. And I did mention to her that she should check out some Facebook groups, see if there are any Facebook groups in her state. But also hook up with a couple of other groups on Facebook that do virtual stitch-alongs or Zoom stitch-alongs. So hopefully she'll be able to look into some of those options. But definitely go show her some love. And the third one is Stitching by the Shore. Laura, she has been around for quite a while, so I'm sure that she's not new to many of you. So she is my latest binge watching rotation. But what I love about Laura is that she also does paper crafts. So she does scrapbooking, and she has integrated her stitching into her scrapbooking, which is fascinating. Uh, and I love her storage methods. If you watch her, you'll see this big, huge storage chest, or for her DMC that's off to the side of her in the back. And you definitely need to have a lot of room to do something like that. But she's great. She's a joy to watch. So definitely check her out. And the final mention I want to put out there is for Cross Stitch the Globe. And these are two sisters, and they're still relatively new. I think they have 12, 13, 14 videos out. They started filming last summer, and they are sisters, Stephanie and Allison. And Allison has been cross stitching for a while, but she was always a monogamous stitcher, and now she has 6 whips, and she gets nervous about that. So she's so cute. And Stephanie has just jumped in both feet. Um, and she's even doing Mirabilias, and she's only been stitching for maybe 6 or 7 months. So kudos to them. But those are my mentions for this video. So yesterday I had my stitchy session up in Maine, in Biddeford, Maine, with the Maine Vacation Land Stitchers, and they have a Facebook group, and they organize small stitchy groups in different parts of the state. So Biddeford is the one that's closest to New Hampshire. I went up there last month and met um, the ladies that were there last month. And this month it was a totally different group of ladies. So I got to meet 6 more people. So that was nice. And they meet at the local Panera right there in Biddeford. Um, and what's nice is that the retreat that I'm going to in April is up in Maine. So I'm already meeting some of these people ahead of time. So it'll be nice to stitch with them once a month and then reconnect with them at the retreat and get to know them a little bit better. So I'm happy about that. And I apologize for the lighting. I just noticed that like there's this glare right here. The sun has come around to this side and is coming in the slider. So it's just that time of day. So I apologize if you are getting a glare. I can see it a little bit on my screen. So let's start off with Sal's. The first Sal I have to show you is my peacock tapestry, which was started on, and I don't even know what I did with it, sorry. I started this was my January 1st start, and I'm doing this Sal with Erica from Fibers and Floss Canada. And this is being done on an unknown even weave that came with my, I got a kit and it came with this and it came with unknown silks, which are lovely, lovely. But it has been a chore matching up the DMC colors because the chart is printed in DMC. So, but that's okay. We manage, right? So the last time I showed this to you, I just had the border done. And now I have started adding a little bit of the color. I didn't get a lot done, but we now have some of the green coming through. So this, I just love stitching this. I really need to devote more time to this, but especially with this green, which I will be continuing with. Um, but yeah, I really love this stitch. Of course, Erica is farther along than I am, but, and I'm not going to zip today. I have all my bags unzipped and I am not going to zip them up because when I was rewatching my video last time, I have to say that zipping and unzipping annoyed me. So I can imagine what you were listening to. So the next one is my 1 dozen. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even show you that pattern for the peacock tapestry. And this is a Teresa Wensler stitch. And it's gorgeous, but you can see what's involved with this. And it's full coverage and all that is blending. Those are all blending colors. Actually, I take that back. I'm not sure. I don't think these middle sections are full coverage, so I take that back. But there's a lot of blending. I would say it's probably 95% blending. So, but that's Teresa Wenzel. That's what makes her pattern so beautiful, right? So the next one is 1 dozen Quakers, the 1 dozen Quaker Sal, patterned by Rosewood Manor. Love Karen Kluber. And this is also called the Baker's Dozen Sal. There's hashtags for both. And this is being sponsored by the Sunshine Stitchers, Sheila and EJ. And this is being stitched on 28 count mushroom Lugana. And I am substituting in my own colors. The called for colors are Weeks Dye Works, and they're all different purples and mauves and bayberry, cranberry, and I didn't want it to be all one color. So I have been substituting in my own colors, and the first one that I have done is yellow. And I did that for the first motif, just because the inside, and I showed this to you last time, but this inside motif right there reminds me of the sun. So I did this one in yellow, and every time I look at this, I will think of the Sunshine Stitchers. And here's my progress before. And this is where I am now, and hopefully the sun won't. There we go. So I'm getting there. I just need to finish up this side right here, and then I can start on the middle. So that's my progress on that. And I mentioned last video that I thought this was my first Quaker that I had done, but I was wrong. Because I did start Summer Quaker by Leela Studio last year. And of course I had my Christmas Quaker that I started on Christmas Day. So it was not my first Quaker start. Whoops, sorry, forgot to unzip this bag. The next one is Baby Dragon. Baby Dragon. This is for the Year of the Dragon Sal, which is being sponsored by Samantha, the Yuga Stitcher, and Erica from Fibers and Floss Canada. And this is the one that I am doing, Baby Dragon. And I downloaded this off Etsy. It is Celtic Rose Needleworks, Needlecraft. And my granddaughter chose the dragon pattern for me to do. And this has been fun. It's so cute. And sorry, I can see that sun coming in, guys. And this is where I am now on this. So this is basically one of the clouds up in the sky. I started the top left, so I am right here on this cloud, and I'm almost done with that cloud. And then I'll be starting this big chunk of grayish green color. And this is being stitched on 16 count white Aida with the called for DMC. So that's a cute one. That'll be getting a lot of work in the next couple of weeks. And I'll tell you more about that in plans. Okay, and the fourth sal we have going on, and this really is for winter boot camp, because this is basically just for the month of February. Oh my gosh, look at all those dust things floating around. Sorry about that, guys. And this means I must have a lot of dust on my laptop. Happy Camper by the Blue Flower. Again, I love Blue Flower. And this is being stitched on 40 count light mocha with the called for DMC. Now, the last time you saw this, I had the side border done, and I went back up and started across the top. So this I can only stitch during the day. This 40 count is really tough on my eyes. Those of you who stitch 46 and 56 count, oh my gosh, I applaud you. Really, honest to God, this is really tough. Oh my gosh, those little dust things floating around are driving me crazy. I apologize, guys. Whoops, just dropped my linen. So I really need to get an animal stitched. I mean, I knew that I wasn't going to get this finished, but I'm one of those type of people that the challenge for the boot camp was you needed to stitch something that had an animal in it. And I guess I'm going to have to get this beaver stitched right here. He's close enough to where I have the border, this border right here, and I'm going to have to get him in there just so that I have one of the animals stitched. And then this will just go into, I don't know, I might keep it in the rotation. We'll see. Whoops, I just zipped that. Habit. Sorry, habit. Okay, now on to whips. So let's start off with the temperature chart and where I got on this for February. This is cottage temperature. And I got this on Fat Quarter Shop's website. They had one for quilts, which is the larger one, and then one for cross stitch. So I got the one for cross stitch. And this is being stitched on 25 count Ivory Lugana with the called for DMC. And we are almost done with February. So as you can see, January and February here in New Hampshire are pretty cold months, mostly all blue. But check this out, guys. This square right here, this light green, that was the day that we hit 60 in February, which is unheard of. So it's been an unusual winter. Haven't had a lot of snow. The temperatures have been warmer than usual. So, um, and for those of you who are new to my channel, I am planning when this is all stitched, because you can tell that this is not going to be a large stitch. I mean, it's going to be small. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use this as the middle focal piece of a wall hanging. I will do a log cabin wall hanging, you know, using with all the colors that end up being in this temperature chart. And this will just be the middle section of the wall hanging. So I can't wait. I can't wait to do that. It'll look so cool. So that's temperature chart. Then we have United in Love. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I can't motivate myself to stitch on this board. This is supposed to be my 37 piece, meaning 30 minutes, 7 days a week. And for whatever reason, I just don't stitch on it. But I'll show you the back. This is the pattern. This is my oldest whip. It was originally started for my cousin back in the winter of 1991. He got married in July of 1992. Obviously never got it. So I decided to, because I did have quite a bit stitched on it, so I decided to pull it out and keep going on it, but stitches for my son for his wedding. Okay, so, granted, this is a little 80s style. I'm trying to change things up. I'm still working with the colors, and, he keeps asking me, oh, so when are we getting our wedding gift? And at the rate I'm going, he'll probably get it for his 5th year anniversary. But, so, oh gosh, this is going to be hard to see. All right, I did get the tail, the white on the tail of the dove stitched, and finished up the wing and the top part of the head. So hopefully the next time you see this, I'll have back stitching in here to help, make it easier. In the pattern, the doves are blue, but no, I wanted them to be white. I'm doing a gray back stitching, and instead of holding a heart in their beaks, I'm going to have them put a wedding band in there. So I am trying to change it up, make it look less 80s, and this is a leisure arts pattern, so um, it is what it is. So that's United in Love. Then the next one is The Last Supper, which I think I forgot to show you last time. And this is another leisure arts. I'm sure many of you have seen this. I've seen it stitched and it's beautiful. And this is my Sunday stitch. I come home from church and chill out and stitch on this, among other things. It's also tax season, so my stitching time is limited, but I did get to the point where I'm starting to add more of the blue in. Before, I think I only had the brown finish the last time I showed this to you. So we've gotten to the point where the top part, this blue here, and then some of this blue. I just continue stitching. I don't go row by row by row. I just go by the color and I'll fill in all the areas of that one color. Then I go back and fill in all the areas of the next color. That's just how I stitch. And that is on 18 count Milk and Honey Ada with the called for DMC. And I enjoy working on this. And again, for those of you who don't know, oh my gosh, that sun. Maybe I'll go back a little bit. I decided at the beginning of the year that I was going to have a set rotation with set whips in it. My sals, those get touched obviously throughout the month. And I have other patterns. The my oldest 10 whips are in the rotation, so they get touched at least one day throughout the month. And then I have others that may be certain days of the month that get started, like End of Forest Grew, which I will show you next. That was my birthday start for last year, and that's pulled out on the 4th of the month. And I have a seasonal stitch, which is The Witch Next Door, and that gets pulled out on the 13th of the month. I have a patriotic stitch. I have a red stitch. I have a monochromatic stitch. I have something from the vault, which is my oldest pattern that I pull out to work on. I have a full coverage stitch. So I tried to have all these in my rotation so that they're getting touched. I have my 37 stitch. They're getting touched at least one day out of the month. And then when something gets finished, that one will drop off and I'll just move something else into its slot. So I just wrote up my rotation for March. And here it is. See, I got the days numbered to the 31st, and then I just slot in anything that I'm working on. And any open days, I can use those for extra days for sales, or my temperature chart, whatever I choose to put in there. So that's how I am working my rotation. I don't do a whip go board. I don't, do any of those Facebook challenges or anything. And so far, this has been working for me, just doing this for the first 2 months. So anyway, all right, so Andy Forrest Grew. I had this right here next to the table last month, and I forgot to even open it up and show it to you. So it gets its spot showcased this. Oh my gosh. I really, seeing all this stuff floating around, all these little dust particles, really tells me I need to dust before my next video. Oh my goodness, it's driving me crazy. Of course, sunlight highlights the dust particles, right? Gosh. All right, and a forest grew. Another Rosewood Manor. And you've all seen this piece. But this was my birthday start last year. And I'll show a picture of where I was before. Oh my gosh, see, every time I put a bag down, it disrupts the dust. It's like it's snowing in here. So sorry. All right, and here's where I am now. So I was able to get this whole tree done, and these birds right here along the side, and then these three little trees or bushes, whatever they are right there. So, and this is being stitched on 36 count antique white Edinburgh with the called for DMC, all 103 colors. So, and I don't find, now this is a 36, and I don't find this too difficult to stitch on, but that 40 count is really a bear. Next, we have Hello Pumpkin. You haven't seen this one in a while. And this is by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I love Caterpillar Cross Stitch. Their patterns are so cute. So there we go. Get it in there close so you can see it. And what I like about Caterpillar Cross Stitch is that her colors are always different. They're not your traditional fall colors like you see in here, a lot of teals and a lot of yellows and a lot of reds. You know, there are oranges, but they're different shades of orange. There's pinks. So, but and this is how far I got on Hello Pumpkin. So I finished, oops, I finished down here, the base of the tree, and started stitching the grass. So hopefully I'll get this done by autumn. That would be nice. Then maybe I'll give this to Allie. She'd probably like it. Hello Pumpkin. Next pulled out was Patriotic Mantle. Hello Pumpkin, I don't know if I said it's just being called on the 16 count white Ada that came. It came as a kit and the DMC. So this is Patriotic Mantle by Bent Creek, and this was issued when it first came out as a mystery stitch along. So this was the first pattern that was sent. This is the finished one down here. But this was the first set that was sent out. And this is being stitched on 18 count raw linen with the DMC pearl cottons. And I wasn't sure if I liked the pearl cotton at first. I stitched a few rows with it and then pulled it out and switched it out for regular DMC, and I didn't like how the regular DMC looked. So then I went back to the pearl cotton, and I've gotten used to stitching with it, and I think that it looks great on this linen because the weave on this linen is so loose that the pearl cotton, you know, fills it nicely. And here we are. So I finished doing the whole top section of the Liberty Bell. And that's Patriotic Mantle by Bent Creek. And I really, again, another one that I really need to devote more time to because it is such an easy stitch and it's delightful to stitch. Next we have Witch Next Door, which is my stitch for the 13th of every month. And I know that some people do both the 13th and the 31st for the months that do have the 31 days, but I'm only planning on doing this for the 13th, I think. That's the way it's been as for now. So this is Primrose Cottage, The Witch Next Door, and I love this. I think it's so cute. I've had this stitched up, kitted up for probably a year, and I finally decided to start it. And this is being stitched on 28 count Laurel Green Lugana, and this has a mixture of colors, Classic Colorworks, Weeks Dye Works, and Gentle Arts. So where I was last time, I just had the grass started. Oops, I don't know why that thread is there. And I got the cat stitched. Isn't that cute? Love that cat. So cute. I just need to do his collar and his eyes, fill those in. But I was happy to get some stitching time in on this. Hello, Marley. One of my dogs has decided to make an appearance. Hello, Marley. And next is, this is my Stitch from the Vault. And I've seen one or two other floss tubers do this because they have old patterns that they have inherited from either, grandparents or parents, and they just thought it would be fun to do these sunset patterns from the 70s or whatever. I definitely know that this is from Country Stitchers 1989, so it fits that 30-year mark. And this is called Rose Tree Lane. And here's what the pattern looks like. And I've said this before, guys. I love the pattern. No, yes, I love what the pattern looks like. I love that design, but I hate stitching it. And why do I hate stitching it? Because it is this stamped cross stitch, which is not my thing. All right, so last time you saw this, I had just this section up here, the leaves, and I started on this blue border across the top. And the reason that I hate this so much is because if you look at these X's, if I can get in close enough, they're not touching. So there's spaces in between them. And that's what's driving me crazy, because in order to not have gaps in between my stitches, I need to make those X's touch each other, in the corners when you do a regular cross stitch. So if I do it in the top right corner, I have to make sure that the top left corner lines up with it. And the corners on the bottom may be shorter than the stitches on the top. You know what I mean? This is not going to be perfect. And I'm at the point where I don't care. I'm really I'm not one who usually gives up on stuff. That's how I was brought up. It's like if you start something, you finish it. But this seriously may become a UFO. I don't know. I don't know. For now, I'm going to stick with it. It's funny because I have a Christmas piece by this same company, and it is the printed cross stitch, and that one looks perfectly fine. The X's are printed fine. I stitched on that at Christmas time. It didn't bother me. Um, but this one definitely does. Definitely does. So next we have Rose Tree Lane by Just Nan. I'm sorry, that was the last one. This is Baby Garden by Just Nan. And I don't know why I haven't pulled this out to work on it, but it is in my list of 10 oldest whips, so it should have been in my rotation, but for some reason I did not stitch on it in January. And this is being stitched on 28 count natural raw linen with the called for DMC, and post a picture where it was before. Before I only had this little bug stitched, and I got in this whole tree. So I got quite a bit done on this. And this is another one that I'm going to look forward to stitching every month. It's not a very big stitch. It looks intimidating, I think, on the pattern cover, but I don't think it's going to be. But I tell you something, I don't know. I worry about the length of this fabric. The fabric I got this pattern from the Silver Needle in Tulsa, and it came with the fabric. The fabric was included with the pattern. So I am trusting that it's the right size if they kitted it up that way. So that was Baby Garden. Then I pulled out Thanksgiving 1621. And this is by Twin Peak Primitive. This is the Thanksgiving 1621 sampler. And I had started this for June boot camp for the Colorado Cross Stitcher last June because you had to stitch something with a bird. And I just love that big old turkey right there. So, and I've just kept this in my rotation for this year. So, last time you saw this, I only had half this pumpkin done. So I finished up the other half of this pumpkin and they have their stems. I did pull some different colored oranges that I'm going to try because I think these two, I mean, obviously there's light shining through this, but I think those colors are too similar. So I pulled out a darker orange, which I will use for the background pumpkin on this, and then maybe keep this orange for the pumpkin that goes over here, the next one. Or maybe switch out this orange and use it for the smaller pumpkin. I don't know, but I did pull out a darker orange, which I think will be a better offset and not clash as much. And hopefully I'll have this done by Thanksgiving. My goal, guys, and again, those of you who've been with me since the beginning of January know that my goal for 2024 is to have 24 whips. It doesn't matter to me how many starts I have. I would just like to have 24 finishes, 24 whips. 24 finishes. I already have 24 whips. So I want to have 24 finishes for 2024. And even if I don't meet that goal and say like I only end up with 12 or I only end up with 10 or I reach 20, it'll still be a win. It'll still be a win because a finish is a finish. So those are my goals for 2024. And then finally, we did have a snow day on Friday, and it's already melted. We got, we had some freezing rain and maybe an inch or two, and it was melted the next day. So even the snow that we have gotten for this year has not stuck around long. So button up got pulled out to be worked on. This is my snow day piece. So this got some attention. Again, not a whole lot. So the last time that you saw this, I had almost finished the second row of grids. Um, and then on Friday, I came down, got this all measured and stitched to the length of this square, came down here. I had this, finished up this half of this square. So I'm almost done with all the grids. And then I can start stitching the insides. But again, this only gets pulled out as a snow day stitch, and if it doesn't snow for the rest of the year, then this will just go away and get pulled out again next year. So those are my whips. Okay, so next item on the agenda, giveaways. In celebration of reaching 200 plus subscribers, I'm going to do 2 giveaways today. The first one is going to be God Bless America, Land That I Love by Artful Offerings. Hopefully there's not a lot of glare with that. And the second one is going to be Live on Little by Plum Street. Everybody was stitching this past year. Okay, so if you would like to enter to win God Bless America, this sampler, use the word barn. Okay, leave it in the comment section below. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a sentence. You don't have to use it in a sentence. Just have the word barn. And this one, use the word little. Okay, so barn and little. And I will use the random comment picker next week to choose a winner on that. You guys know all the rules. Please be 18, be a subscriber and like the channel, and good luck to everyone. Next is plans. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to plan for is to definitely dust next time before I do a video. Oh my gosh, you see the way the sun is coming in? So that tells me 2 things. Number one, that obviously the Earth's rotation is changing because I never get the sun this bad in through this slider. This is the same time of day I always film at, and you can see how bad it is, especially with all the little dust particles floating around. Second, it tells me that I need to get my craft room finished because I'm going to need a new filming spot. This just is not going to cut it going forward. So hopefully after tax season, that will get finished up right away. And then we'll have a new filming spot. That'll be exciting. Okay, so plans. Let's see. So, my Fancy Lady February is Stargazer. You guys all voted for which one I should start. I have not started her yet, and that is because I am still waiting on fabric to come in from 123 Stitch. Remember, I had said I was going to try a different couple of other fabrics because I did not like the called for fabric. I wanted to have a more nighttime effect, surreal, because she's supposed to be gazing at the stars. So I did have two different pieces of fabric in my cart, and I waited too long before pressing the order button, and somebody snatched those right out, and now they're on back order, temporarily out of stock. So I'm just waiting for those to come back into stock, and then I can order those and get those in. Leap year starts. The 29th is coming up. So for my leap year starts, I decided to do two. And the first one is a long dog. Home is where your story begins. And here's that pattern. I think what drew me to this pattern is number one, the house. But I also like, you know, the signature, home is where your story begins. I love that. And I also love all the stars, like they look like quilt stars going all the way around this. So I love everything about this. There's some sheep, there's some horses, there's some birds. Um, yeah, I just love it. It's going to be a lot of black though around the border. That border is going to be a bear to stitch, I think, but it'll be beautiful. And then the second one I'm doing, because I need to have my head examined, obviously, is Dutch Beauty. And Dutch Beauty, I have the pattern somewhere. I know I have the pattern, and I just haven't been able to locate it yet. That just goes to show you what a disarray that back room is in. So I need to find that pattern, and that's also going to be started on leap year on the 29th. So these patterns, I will start them, and then they will get pulled out on the 29th of every month as part of my rotation now. So that'll be exciting. And I think I will keep Stargazer in my rotation also, because I don't want to just start her and then put her away, right? So she will be part of the rotation, um, along with Snow Queen, because she's still in the rotation. Today's the 25th, so Quaker Christmas will be coming out later on today. I need to pull out Last Supper for some stitching on today. Tomorrow will be Snow Queen, and also Dreaming of a White Christmas, because I did not pull that out yesterday. And then I will have probably stitch on either Baby Dragon or Peacock Tapestry for the 30th, and then 30th and 31st. I can do both. So, or I can continue to stitch on Dutch Beauty and Home is Where Your Story Begins. You know, I start those on the 29th. I can stitch those on the 30th and 31st too, I guess, if I want. So anyway, those are plans for the upcoming week. Going into next week. Now, my next video, I will I know that I will not be filming on Sunday. That will be, because 2 weeks from now, that Sunday will be the 10th, right? Yes, the 10th. And, oh, that's daylight savings time. I will actually be in Nebraska. Hopefully I will be in Nebraska by then. I am leaving on that Friday, which is uh the 8th. Yes. So I should be there by then. I am leaving on the 8th to head to Nebraska. Allie has school vacation week that week, and so I'm heading out there to babysit her for the week. So I will probably be filming on Monday. It is a 21-hour drive, so I'll be leaving Friday night, drive as far as I can, stop, and then pick up Saturday and hopefully get there late Saturday night sometime. And probably spend Sunday just recovering from my trip. But Monday, I will probably film that Monday. I'm not going to take too much with me to Nebraska, just because the car is going to be loaded up. My son is coming over here sometime this week. We are getting a bunch of stuff down out of the attic, and it's all going in the car and heading to Nebraska. I've told both my kids, time to clean out the house, get your stuff out of here. You both have houses now. Let's start decluttering, hauling out, anything that's yours, get it out of here. So I will probably be doing that on Monday. So Allie will be making a guest appearance. You guys haven't seen her since the first video we did, and that was in Oklahoma. So you've seen her in clips here and there where I've inserted pictures of things that she has finished. She has more I don't have any finishes, so of course she has more finishes than I do. But we'll catch up with Allie, see what she's been working on. She did get a couple of cross-stitch patterns for Christmas, and we are supposed to meet up with Terry and Jamie sometime during that week, maybe just for lunch or having a stitch along. Of course, as I mentioned right at the beginning of the video, they are the Cornhusker State Stitches, and so that'll be fun. And then whatever else comes along. I have to try to finish that sweater before I head out to Nebraska. I didn't even show it. Hold on. Sorry about that. I should have had this pulled out, but I wasn't really planning on showing it, but I might as well. I am at the point now. Here's the back. I'm at the point now where I can start decreasing here, where it fits under the arms and go up, but there we go. Can you see the sparkles in it? Somewhat. But I really should have had this done by now because I wanted to have this finished by the time I went to Nebraska so that Allie can have it to wear. So I will be knitting on that pretty proficiently to try to get that done. So other than that, nothing else on the agenda. So we will tune back in. Like I said, Allie should be with me. So we will tune back in sometime during my trip to Nebraska. And in the meantime, happy stitching and thanks for joining me today. Take care. Bye bye.